sunlight through the window pane. Coffee steaming, no rush, no lane. World's been shouting all night long. I pour a cup, let the silence talk. I didn't leave angry, didn't storm the door. I just stepped sideways away from the roar. Pull up a chair, let the clock unwind. This isn't breaking news, it's breaking the grind. They sell fear by the hour, package rage by the pound. Every screen's got an opinion, every voice trying to sound like they know what's coming, like they've cracked the code. But the loudest ones panic when you step off the road. I've seen cycles repeat, watched them rise, watched them fall. Empires shouting forever right before they stall. So I sip and I watch, let the headlines fight. Truth don't need a megaphone, it waits out the night. They want speed, they want fire, they want sides, they want lines, they want heroes and villains every damn time. But life ain't a headline, ain't red versus blue. It's quiet decisions people never review. Yeah, yeah, they want me. Freedom's loud? Nah, freedom's calm. It's knowing when to walk while the others all run. I'm not late to the party, I just left it early. Seen how it ends, same mess, same worry. Take a breath, let the cup cool down. The world will keep spinning without your sound. We'll be right here when the dust Coffee on the table, morning in the sky. This is coffee time, live. No need to run. We'll talk again when the day's begun.
Exotic beans in a steady grind. Water hot, no rush, no show. Milk turns silk in careful time. Dark cup from Lake clean and slow. Mountain groom, strong and true. A Colombian cappuccino made right here above the blue.
Sunlight spills through the cafe door. Mic goes live like it's done before. 9 years deep in these mountain towns, we brew the truth, not just sit around. I came for a visit and stayed for the view, but the soul of this place, it just pulls you through. Mornings in Finlandia, nights in Salento. Life don't move fast, but man, it's full tempo. This ain't a pitch, it's real as it gets. From lost bags to love and bureaucratic regrets. No script here, just the sound of real lives told live every week under Colombian skies. It's coffee time lived from the heart of Quindio, where the screen fades out and the real stories flow from expats who landed and locals who guide. We laugh, we vent, we cry, we ride. It's not about views, it's about the vibe. Just raw conversation, live and alive. Got folks tuning in from every time zone, asking what's it like to make this place your own. It's mango trees, it's rent debates, It's finding peace past the clickbait gates. Some days we talk visas, some days we just breathe and sip dark roast while the valley grieves through mudslides, marches, markets, and mess. We show up with stories, no more, no less. It's coffee time lived, not just a name on a screen. It's 9 years of mornings and everything between. No hype, just heart and a decent brew. A place for the honest, the warm, the true. Not selling dreams, just sharing the ride from right here in Quindío live. And if you've ever felt a little lost or wide awake at dawn, this show was made for you to lean on. We're not tourists here, we belong, we build in mountain towns where the air stands still. So bring your mug, your doubts, your days. We'll light them up in soft cafe rays. It's not a podcast, it's a porch light glow. It's home and a headline, a yes and a no. It's coffee time live. Come as you are, from my table in Colombia to wherever you are.
Good morning and welcome back to the channel, Grand Colombia, and welcome to another Coffee Time Live here in Armenia, Quindío, Colombia. And 11 o'clock on the dot. Pretty good timing. Buen dia. Hello, Mr. B. Nick. Welcome. And thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Excuse me. So, Colombian peso, 37.64 this morning. And I will point out, this isn't a told you so from me. Well, sort of half me. It was last week or the week before, I showed you AI with a prediction for peso, whenever I did the peso one. And 3 of them predicted one thing and one predicted something else. And they all had the exact same prompt. And I was pointing out about the accuracy or lack of with AI, how you just can't rely on it. And I had a really good prompt. And the one that I told you is probably true is the one that pinpointed where we are today and where we've been this week. So one of the 4 was correct. And it was the one that I told you would be correct because that's how it works. William, Mr. William, good morning. How are you doing? Mr. William is finally coming back. He's been gone forever. So it'd be nice to see you. And Mike, he says he's probably going to drop in today. Here he is living in Panama. Hey, you only get a few friends, and he's one of them, and he had to move off somewhere else. Becky, hello, how are you doing? And Olga, good morning. How are you? And all the chats count today. Today they count. 10:30 last night, I fulfilled every requirement. Now, I got the chats earlier, and it was on a Sane in Colombia AI live video that I did, and I picked up the last chat that I needed, but it was 10:30 last night because it clicks at midnight. And so I was sweating bullets because I'll either get a paycheck or not. And so it clicked and I'm in the money. So anyway, important to me. It may not seem like a lot of money to some people, but it's a huge difference, particularly since we're all struggling with the exchange rate. Well, not all of us. Some of us don't care because we're living on 2 retirements, and we set up our life to be what it is. And congratulations, very intelligent of you. I thought I was there. I thought I had it, but life will throw you curves, give you a little cancer. It's just how it goes. But I'm certainly not complaining, because that cancer, it's been 12 years now. No cancer. And they said I was going to die. So, it's like, heart attacks, who cares? I'm on borrowed time. So, everything I get is awesome. And it kind of makes that exchange rate look a little less important. Okay, so go look at my book, particularly the one that I pinned, which is about AI, but it has all kinds of documentation, has some really good stuff. And it's caught the eye of some people out there. So anything comes of it, I'll let you know. But I've gotten a few messages from some important people in that field, and there's some unique things in that book. Anyway, where are we at? Let's go right to the news. Let's go right to the news. Feel free to use the chat. The issue that pops up, when I say at the end of the month I need to get chat, it's because I have a core of people that are very comfortable and say hello and where they are. Like Owen, it always starts off with audio and video good, because back in the days when we did YouTube, that was hit and miss. There were always problems. And it's just been flawless for a long time here. Anyway, there's a lot of people that watch, because I could see it. You guys can't really see, but I could see on Kick, on X, on my small personal account on YouTube, there's a couple people there. And of course on Rumble, where most people are, I could see all those people, and I could see your chats. If you're on YouTube, for example, looking, nope, nobody YouTube, but I can see it. I can see your chats. And so the majority of people that watch never say anything. I mean, feel free. It's not like there's no downside to it. I'm sure you have opinions, particularly when I'm asking about direction I'm going. I mean, what did you think about what I covered today? Does that do you any good, or should I be doing something else? Or, because as I've said the last few weeks, I've been doing Coffee Time Live. We're coming up on 10 years. First in Ecuador, but the last, since 2018, I've been doing it here in Colombia. And I don't really have trouble finding topics. I just don't know if they're topics the audience is really interested in. And I can tell some weeks, I come up with a topic I think will be pretty good, and people will log in, and then they just kind of fade away. Well, obviously they were bored with it, because I'm not pretty, I'm not really entertaining, so the topic has to be worthwhile if people are going to watch. And so I'm always looking for that kind of input. So feel free. Don't be afraid of the chat. It won't bite. Live chat. And if you have trouble, and then we'll get to the news topic. If you have trouble with it, where you put the message, to the left of that, it's got your logo. Or, well, what you want to do is make sure that you're watching this from the Coffee Time logo. It's white background with the yellow Coffee Time logo. And then you have no problem with chat. You can watch it from the main account, but then you may have trouble with the live chat. So always, and whenever I post up the link, it's always the correct link. Okay, enough of that. Greetings from Tampa Bay, 5 more days before arriving to the farm. Have a great show. Thank you. Thank you. I always hope to, but you never know. All right, so let's get on with the headlines. First one here. Heavy rains hit coffee production in Quindío and generate concern about a drop in the harvest. Last year was a record coffee harvest. It was awesome. It was also very high quality. This year, they don't know yet. They don't know. But when you have as much rain consistently as we've had greater volume and we've had more days of, it can really hurt your coffee production. And worse than that, it can hurt the quality of that coffee. But they don't know yet. We'll know soon. Probably next month we'll have a pretty good handle on it. But it's always a concern because, every farm in Quindío is a family-owned farm. It's how they make their living. And, if the quality gets hurt by that, so it becomes average coffee, and if there's less of it to sell, there goes your profit. So not good. All right, next headline here. Binational tensions escalate. Ecuador raises tariffs on Colombian products to 30%. Now, if you remember, there was a back and forth where Colombia was selling electricity to Ecuador. Whoops. We don't want that yet. A little early. And then Ecuador put a 30% tariff on Colombia. That was just a few weeks ago. And then yesterday, I think, Friday or Saturday, it was just out of the blue, they decided to jump it to 50%. I don't know. It's like, what, you trying to make trouble? I mean, nothing had changed. So it's not like, I don't know why. I looked, I said, well, there's got to be some reason. I can't find any reason. If any of you know of some reason that wasn't proclaimed when they went to 30%, I couldn't find anything that had changed. And they just arbitrarily decided. And the thing is, it doesn't make sense for Ecuador to do that because they're far more hurt than Colombia. Colombia buys a lot of stuff from Ecuador. So if Colombia decides to shut that down, it's Ecuador that really gets hurt by that. Anyway, let's see. And let's see, where are we here? Okay, this isn't a headline, but I told him last week I would show this, and I didn't. We've got a gentleman that actually moved 2 years ago, I think, moved from Ecuador to here in Colombia. And he brought a lot of furniture. He brought a ton of stuff, nice, very nice stuff from Ecuador to here. He's leaving again, but this time he's not taking any of his furniture with him. And he had a house in Ecuador. So, I mean, he's got a ton of stuff. So I'm going to show you. It'd probably go too fast to read what's going to be up and the prices and stuff. There's two things you can do. His contact number, Colombian number, will be at the end of this little less than a minute little clip I put together. Or later, you can come back to the video and stop at that area and blow it up. But basically, just contact him. He's got a WhatsApp, and he's got the phone number is going to be on here. So take a look, because I suspect that there's going to be some real good deals to be made with him. So if you're moving here, if you're new here, or if you just want to upgrade something, or if you just like something that he's got, it's definitely worth contacting. Nice guy. Okay, so I hope some of you score on that. If I had a little extra money, there's some things I would definitely want to get. It's not very often when somebody's going to leave and they're going to sell everything and their stuff is really good stuff. So, all right. What else we got here? I got another. Okay, just days ago, one of the presidential candidates, who we're going to talk about in some detail, it's going to be our main topic I get to here in a few minutes. But he came to visit Armenia. Now, just to put it in context, there was a visit from the Liberal Party 3 weeks ago, and it was Petro trying to drum up a lot of outrage, protest. They score points publicly by having protests with a lot of people show up, and it was a miserable failure. And I think I showed a picture where there was just like a dozen people wandering around the big Bolivar Plaza. Well, this guy, he's very popular. He's come out of nowhere, and he's not a politician. He's never had office before, but here's his meeting down in Plaza Bolivar.
¡Hey, miren la limpia que le está dando el tigre Abelardo al petrismo en Armenia! ¡Una cosa de locos! Aquí la gente se desbordó y vino a presenciar el acto del próximo presidente. Vamos a ganar en primera vuelta. Y los mamertos a llorar al monte, carajo. ¡Firme por la patria! ¡Hey, miren la...
Okay, pretty good turnout. To understand that the coffee region tends to be middle of the road to conservative. Actually, it's probably better to say more Colombian traditional, because the exact meanings of left and right and things like if you're from Britain or the United States or something like that, it doesn't quite fit. It generally, yeah, but here it's more about being traditional, and that's a popular stance, and that's most of Colombia. So let's talk today about this little going deep venture that I took on. I knew about the politics, but I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about the system. I'm going to try to keep it from being dry, but you should walk away today having an understanding of what's going on, what's at stake. Because Colombia is about to do something it does every 4 years. It's kind of fascinating, confusing, terrifying, and sometimes riveting. Colombia's picking a new president. And I have to tell you, as someone who lives here, whose life is here, this one really matters. This one matters a lot. So I'm going to try to walk you through this whole thing in a way that I hope makes sense, even if you just got off the plane last week or 3 weeks. First, we'll start with a little context. Most of us grew up with American elections. I realize there's people from other countries like Belgium, England. There's some Canadian viewers. the bulk of the viewers are American. I'm from the USA, so that's I kind of relate there. So don't feel left out. It's just what I know. And with us, it's kind of like two parties, two candidates. You know, once in a while you get Ross Perot or something like that, maybe a third guy nobody votes for. Sorry, I'll go over those chats in a bit. So you watch a debate, you vote. It used to be, and I guess it will be again, it's over in one night. Neither celebrate or cry into your beer, and that's that. It's over, and you go back to your life. Colombia doesn't really work like that. Colombia has approximately, well, I'd like to be accurate, but it has a lot of political parties, and it has a lot of candidates. And before the real election, they have practice elections called consultas, where different factions vote to pick who their champion will be into the main event. Ready to rumble. Think of it like a tournament bracket, except some people skip the bracket entirely and just show up to the championship round anyway. And that's happening this year. There's one guy who got kicked out of the bracket on a technicality and is furious about it. And then another guy who has his tiger mascot plastered across every flat surface in the country. But, you know, I'm jumping ahead. Let me introduce you to some of the main characters here. So the main event, we've got two men, very different futures. Right now, according to the most recent serious polling, it's from a firm called Atlas Intel. About 7,300 people, I think it was, surveyed in early February. There's two candidates that are running neck and neck at the top. Let me show you this poll. So we've got, here's a mouthful, Abelardo de Espreja, or something like that. He's at 32%. Ivan Cepeda, he's at 31%. And then the third guy, 7%. Drastic difference, particularly when I go, and I'll show you in a minute here, the other candidates, which I'm not really going to talk about them because nothing's much going to happen with them. But what we have is basically a statistical tie. It's a dead heat. And these two men represent something really important for us as Americans living here because they point Colombia in almost completely opposite directions. Oh, sorry about that. Checking the... Okay, so let me show you these. These are all people that are running now. The percent, because I'm not going to cover exactly what's going on individually. This poll is different than the national poll that I was just showing you. This is a whole different story, and essentially ignore it because it's not about their popularity on a national poll. But so let me, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 candidates. Yeah, figure that out. So first we got Ivan Cepeda, this guy, Ivan. In the United States, I mean, you probably never heard of him, but he's got a pretty strong story. His father was a journalist and activist named Manuel Cepeda Vargas, who was assassinated by military forces in 1994. Ivan spent years fighting for justice for his father's murder, all the way to the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. And then he became a senator, and he became a human rights advocate. He's serious, he's intellectual, elite, and he is unmistakably the continuity candidate for the current government. He's Petro's guy. He's the left's guy. He's the progressive. He won the Pacto Historica, that's a political party, internal consultation last October with 1.5 million votes. He's the standard bearer of the progressive movement that's been running Colombia for the past 4 years. Now, and this is important for the story, there was supposed to be a consultation on March 8th coming up, where the left would rally behind their champion going into the main election. Cepeda was expected to win that easily. Except the CNE, which is the National Electoral Council, basically the election oversight body, I guess you'd say, ruled that because Cepeda already competed in one consultation in October where he got the 1.5 million, he can't compete in a second one in March. Something about a rule against double participation. It was a little complicated, but there is a rule that says you can't do that. Cepeda called it a coup, said it was anti-democratic, and vowed to abolish the CNA if he gets elected. That is a rule. But then he just kept running, and he skips the March consultation, and he's just going to go right to the May 31st, regardless of whether he broke the rule or not. And that'll be the first round of a full presidential candidate, as a full presidential candidate. He's still polling at 31%. It didn't really change much, and the controversy hasn't hurt him at all yet. So what does Cepeda presidency mean for us? Probably a continuation of what we've seen under Petro. Tension with Washington, economic uncertainty, and ideological direction that prioritizes social programs over private investment. And if history's any guide, more volatility in the peso. I'm not saying it'll be catastrophic, but there's certainly some dangers there, not just for us, but for Colombia, in particularly with these groups that have gained strength in the past 4 years. And then we got the guy who I can't pronounce his name, Abelardo de la Espriella. He's called the Tiger, El Tigre. Now this guy, he's 47 years old. Whoop, here we go. Yeah, this picture kind of said it all. He was born in Bogota, raised on the Caribbean coast in Monteria. He calls himself a costeño at heart. That's a real positive because he's got a power base on the coast. And for a traditional candidate, that's very often not the case. He's a criminal defense lawyer. He's one of the most expensive and certainly the most famous criminal defense lawyer in Colombia. He's represented victims of acid attacks, for example. He's fought landmark cases that changed Colombian law. He's very well known. He's also represented some people who are, well, we'll say controversial, including a guy connected to Venezuelan money laundering. And there's another guy who recently sued him for allegedly stealing 5 billion pesos. And so there's some baggage there, but he doesn't apologize for any of it. He says he's a lawyer and he represents clients. That's what lawyers do. He wears very expensive watches. He dresses really well. He started his own movements in liquor, fashion, construction, and he branded himself El Tigre, the Tiger. If you notice, Where is it here? My thumbnail. Can't show it now. All right. His social media is full of AI generated images of a roaring tiger wrapped in a Colombian flag. I was going to try to show you, but I can't do it while I got the camera on. He's never held public office. I mean, not once, not even dog catcher. He's never been a mayor, a governor, a senator, nothing. He considers that a feature, not a problem. He is, and I mean this as description, I'm not criticizing, the Colombian version of a pattern we've seen a lot lately in Latin America. Think Milei in Argentina or Bukele in El Salvador. He's the outsider. He's a disruptor. He's a guy who says the political establishment is rotten. He says the parties, all parties, are corrupt. And what the country needs is someone who's never been part of the machine. Or should we say the swamp? His proposals: fumigate the 330,000 hectares of coca, resume aerial spraying, rebuild the military, and erect mega prisons. I mentioned Bukele. Shrink the government from 20-something ministries down to 9 or 10. Remember Melee? Fuera, afuera. He's cut from the same cloth. Cut taxes on businesses and get tough on crime. He says on his first day in office, he'll issue 90 executive decrees. I couldn't find what those 90 were, but in other words, he says, I mean business. His campaign slogan essentially is, I arrive late to the distribution of fear. But the meaning of that is, I'm not afraid of any of this. So that's his slogan. I'm not afraid. So what does this presidency mean for us? Almost certainly warmer relations with Washington. Trump would probably love this guy. Better investment climate, that's a real positive, at least in the short term. The polls suggest the peso could stabilize, possibly strengthen if he wins, because the markets respond to business-friendly signals. But he's not without risk. He's unpredictable. He has legal baggage. And the I'll fix everything with 90 decrees on day one is, I don't know, that's kind of a big promise. But he's the candidate that right now is the one most likely to beat Cepeda in a runoff. Hold on. I need a drink of water. Got a nice crowd here. Welcome. Okay, let me look these chats over for a second, and then I'll get right back to the topic. What is the best and most cost-effective for U.S. phone number for two-part verification banks? I'll leave you guys to figure that out. It's a topic for another time. Chad, not very cost-effective. Additional $100 a month you pay Verizon. That's crazy. That's crazy because there's tons of things out there for $19.95. Look into eSIM. Not all of them, but some companies work for exactly what you want to do. And there's also, I wasn't going to talk about this, but who is it? U.S. company, used to be nothing. They've gotten really big. But they have a plan where you only have to pay for the day that you use them, and it's like $10. So if once a month you have to make a call or do a verification thing, you use it, it'll cost you $10, but it doesn't cost you anything the rest of the time. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that company. T-Mobile, that's the one. T-Mobile, I've had it for years. I'm tired of paying their fees. I've heard that Mint has a good program. Now, the T-Mobile thing, it's a particular plan. So if you have T-Mobile, you come here, you're paying your monthly fees. The plan that they have where you only pay on the day that you use it. That actually sounds like a pretty good option because you're only going to need to verify things once or twice a month at most. I mean, at first, maybe more, but once you're here and you're living here, it only comes up for me about twice a year. Okay, Mr. B. Nick, I have Mint for several years, used it in Colombia. They're bought by T-Mobile a couple years ago, and they have a good international roaming. You can buy 10 days for $20 like that. eSIM, $99 a month, way too much. That's crazy. Try my Tello, $5 a month option. Okay. Side conversation. I shouldn't have let myself get distracted. Get one more drink of water and we'll finish up on this. So why does this runoff matter so much? Well, here's the thing about Colombian elections that makes this really interesting. You don't win by getting the most votes in round one. You win by getting more than 50%. And if nobody gets 50%, and nobody ever gets 50% in a field this crowded, the top two vote getters go to a second round, one-on-one, head-to-head. And that's where the math gets interesting. Right now, Cepeda beats almost everybody in a head-to-head matchup. The only candidate polling strong enough to beat Cepeda in a runoff is Esprella. I know I'm butchering his name. So for the right and center right of Colombian politics, this is a nightmare scenario. If they split their votes across 5 or 6 or 7 candidates in the first round, all with their egos and their party loyalties and their regional bases and all the things that cause them to dig their heels in, Cepeda might slip through to the runoff against someone weaker. And then Cepeda is going to win. The right needs to consolidate. And right now, Esprella is the one who they need to consolidate around, but they don't want to. But, try tell that to a room full of Colombian politicians, I imagine. So there's a lot of other candidates. And as I said, I'm not going to go through all of them any more than what I did. We'd be here forever. But there are a few that are kind of important, like Sergio Fajardo. He's a former governor of Antioquia and former mayor of Medellin. He's a brilliant guy by all accounts. He's an excellent administrator. And this is his third consecutive presidential run. If he gets even 7 or 8%, Colombia likes him, but apparently not enough because he's only getting that 7 or 8%. Then you got Paloma Valencia. She's a candidate of the Centro Democrático. The party former President Uribe, the most influential right-wing political figure of the modern era. She's sharp, articulate, and tough. She's polling around 4% nationally. She needs March 8th to change that. Then you have Claudia Lopez. She was a mayor of Bogota, and she did some things well, but she made some enemies, and she's known for being very direct, which is not a popular thing here necessarily, and she's running about 4%. Then you got others. You got former ministers, governors, former ambassadors, a lot of people who just want to be president of Colombia. It's, as you saw, it's a big crowd. What was it, 27? So what happens on March 8th? Colombia holds congressional elections and those intra-party consultations I mentioned. The big center-right consultation has 9 candidates competing. Whoever wins, whether it's Paloma or someone else, becomes a consolidated center-right candidate going into May 31st. That March 8th result is going to tell us a lot. If a strong candidate emerges and the right begins to coalesce, Esprilla faces real pressure to negotiate or collaborate. if the right stays fragmented. Esprilla and Cepeda may simply run away from the field, and this becomes a two-man race very early. So I'm going to be watching next week when March 8th hits, and I'm going to do my best to figure it out, and then the coffee time following, we'll talk about it. So what does it mean for us? I mean, why is this even a topic for us? So the reason we're here is to see what's in it for us, right? So if you live in Colombia as an American expat or an expat in general, this election really matters in a couple ways. The peso. Under Petro, the peso has been on a long slide for us. We talked about this a few weeks ago in detail, and I personally lost the equivalent of about $400 a month this past year. That's a lot of purchasing power out the window. A business-friendly, market-oriented government tends to attract investment and stabilize currency. A continuation in the current trend probably means continued volatility. Relations with Washington. Right now, there's a tense truce between Bogota and Trump administration. Neither side's in love with the other. A change of government, especially towards someone like Esprilla, who admires Trump in general, would almost certainly mean a warmer relationship. And a warmer relationship between Bogota and Washington is generally good for expats like us living here. Fewer complications, maybe improved visa issues, less geopolitical turbulence, something being done about these groups that have been growing. That would be one of the first moves if he won. But what's the vibe out there? It's like I got people all over the country I contact for these things. And I want to be honest, in my experience, Colombians don't take out their political frustrations on American expats. I mean, they have been and they remain warm and welcoming, and always kind to me, regardless of what's happening in their politics. Anti-Petro sentiment doesn't mean anti-American. Anti-Trump sentiment doesn't mean anti-me or you. These are smart, nuanced people. I didn't realize how much they not only know what's being told to them, but they know what's beneath the surface. And it's pleasantly surprising. But a government that's friendlier to foreign investment and foreign residents creates a better environment overall for everybody. More certainty, more confidence, safety and stability, hard line on crime, armed groups, coke eradication. That would be pretty awesome. Makes a very attractive candidate for us. Cepeda would likely continue we'll call it peace process approach, which means constant appeasing and allowing to grow, because that's what we've had 4 years of. So which is better? It is complicated, but the coffee region, our region, has been relatively calm anyway. So I hope whoever wins understands the value of keeping it that way. I try to be fair on this show. I'm not a Colombian citizen. I don't vote, and I generally respect that Colombians get to make this choice. But I have opinions, and I'm watching this election pretty closely. It affects my rent. It affects my daily life. It affects whether the place I've chosen to call home keeps moving in a direction I can thrive in. And what I see right now is a country at genuine crossroads, two very different visions. One of them is more traditional. Make Colombia great again, you might say. A vote that's close enough that it could go either way. Colombia surprised the world when Petro won in 2022. I couldn't hardly believe it. Well, since then, we've learned how that happened, but we are where we are. First leftist president in the country's history. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Colombia surprised the world again in 2026. Whatever happens, I'll be here watching, reporting, having my coffee, and I'll have more for you on uh, March 8th. I think that's Sunday. I don't know if next Sunday there'll be enough information available to do it on the coffee time, but the next available coffee time, I'll go over it. So that's my main topic for today. So what do you think? Let's do the traditional thing. So where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Are you paying attention to the election? Does it affect your life here? All kinds of series of things to get you to comment, because commenting makes a difference. It really does. So I'd like to get paid more. I want a raise. A couple $100. That's great. I want to get 3 or 4. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the chats here. I'm looking into popcorn. Will banks accept Google Voice? No, they won't. People can call me on Google Voice. What's up? Yeah, it doesn't work. We're not talking about regular calls. We're talking about those verification calls. And they know. If it's not a real number, they know. You used to be able to get away with it. And then they stopped the obvious ones like Google Voice. But then you had some services that weren't so obvious that slipped through, but even those now have dried up. They just keep making it more difficult. Interesting elections for sure this time around. Yeah, it's the thing that concerns me the most. I'm not that freaked out over the peso to be honest, despite what I say. I mean, the effect is the effect, and I hate it when it puts me in that kind of position. However, still, what's my alternative? But what really bothers me is when I have to talk to you guys and tell you about things like in Cauca or Cucuta on the Venezuelan border, or the Gulf clan, Clan de Golfo, on the Caribbean coast. The way the Mexican cartels have moved into Colombia and just continue to grow because we got a president who relates to them, we'll say. Yeah, this public forum. It's not behind a wall. So if he relates to them, he has sympathies for them, and it's created an environment where they have grown. Now, you could say, no, it's not happening or whatever, but you don't have to believe what anybody says. All you have to do is look at the situation of what it was 4 years ago and what it is today. Most of these groups have more than doubled in size, become much wealthier. It's just, no matter how you look at it, these last 4 years have been a disaster. And yeah, I live in the coffee region, and that's the most protected area of the country. But I've got friends in Cali. I don't want to see it get to the point. Now, I never thought it could move into Cali. There are people there because it's a big city, but it doesn't control Cali. But you never know. If things keep going the way they are, it could become in danger of that. Running down to Pasto, for example, if somebody wants to do that, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you could get dragged off the bus. Because there's a lot of active groups as you get down in the south part of Colombia. It wasn't like that before. I mean, it's been years it hasn't been like that. And anything along the Venezuelan border is, go at your own risk. They even had the presidential helicopter a few years back get shot at just for flying over that area. So it's getting out of hand. And a lot of years and blood, sweat, money went into pushing them back to almost extinction. And it's like just when you're going to win the match, you decide to let them up, dust them off. Yeah, maybe I had you in a hold that wasn't fair. So, my bad. Why don't you get up and start over again? I mean, it's crazy to me. So for me, that's the primary thing about the election. For you, it might be something different. But for me, that's the thing. Anyway, your thoughts? Anything else? How we doing? Feel free to go to my private or personal channel and watch 6 or 7 videos now on AI. Some get quite involved, so take a look at that. I keep pushing people there because I'm proud of the information, and everybody either is or will be soon involved with AI, and you might as well know how to make it work properly for you. Because if you just dive into, I can figure it out. Well, you can, but it can take months. In the meantime, it's not good. It's not reliable. It will lie to you. It's like from day one, you don't want to have that. All right. I think we got one more comment and then we'll go. When you have time, please find out if anyone can assist with information on another contact for a car rental in LA Den Airport other than Rent-A-Cars, another company they could recommend. Yeah, they're the only ones out there. And there's only one other legitimate one here in Armenia. Your best bet is just get a ride up on the bus or a taxi. Taxi is probably up to about 30,000 pesos, maybe 40,000, $10. Just do that and then do your rental car here. I have information. The problem with the rental cars, they've gotten so damn expensive. They're almost triple what they cost just 3-4 years ago. They've gotten ridiculous. We're scheduled to arrive on Friday, and I haven't selected a rental car yet. I typically rent with Enterprise, but since we're flying into LA Den for the first time, and they don't operate there. Yeah, just bring a taxi up here. It's not going to break the bank. They're cheap. There's also the buses run, and what's the bus like? 3,000, 4,000 pesos, something like that, like $1. And the buses seem like they're always there. So just go down, jump on the bus, and bring it up to the terminal. Yeah, it's a simple way to do it. All right. Well, let me go back in here. I sure wish I had a producer so I didn't have to look down and look at all this stuff here and find out what I need to click. There we go. All right. So I will see you next coffee time. I'm going to try to stay on the AI topic for a while. There's a few more things for me to cover. And it's fun for me. I get into it. I'm kind of passionate about it. You don't put out a couple books on something you don't care about. So watch for that on the personal channel. If there's other things that you'd like to see, feel free to suggest it. And there is a paywall, a protected wall, where I can say things and not worry about my visa. It's the premium channel, but you do have to pay. There's different versions of it. I think it's like $9 a month, something like that. They run specials all the time, but once you have that, then you can participate into something that's suited for private conversations versus public ones. Okay, I guess that's it. All of you have a great Sunday. Appreciate you being here. very much. I'd be lost without this hobby. And at a minimum, see you next week. Ciao.